The early morning sun gleamed across the Beverly Hills streets, reflecting sharply off Darius Mitchell's Ferrari as it glided silently into the diagnostic center. Cameras, drones, and live streams from the previous day's viral event had transformed the quiet facility into a global spectacle overnight. Everyone who doubted Darius now watched in awe, yet whispers of envy and disbelief lingered in the corners of the luxury car world. Inside, Jonathan Sterling's face was etched with disbelief. His $350,000 bet, meant to humiliate, had backfired spectacularly. The Ferrari he thought would expose Darius as incompetent had instead become a symbol of unassailable genius. Sterling's phone buzzed relentlessly. Media outlets, collectors, even Ferrari North America executives were contacting him, not with praise, but with consequences. Darius, calm and focused, stepped toward the newly arrived McLaren and Lamborghini brought in by anxious clients eager to test his methods. His hands moved instinctively over the hood, the sound of hydraulics and ambient traffic fading behind him. He didn't just fix cars, he revealed mechanical truth. Sterling's mocking voice echoed faintly in his mind, yet Darius didn't flinch. Today, the world would witness the next level of mastery, and Sterling would learn that genius doesn't ask for permission, it demands recognition. The day after the Ferrari incident, Beverly Hills felt different. The air carried a tension that hadn't existed before, a mix of admiration, curiosity, and subtle dread. Automotive circles, from casual enthusiasts to high-end collectors, spoke in hushed, awed tones about Darius Mitchell, the man who had turned a $350,000 humiliation into a global testament of talent and discipline. His phone had been flooded overnight with messages, invitations from racing teams, academic institutions, private collectors, and media outlets. Yet Darius didn't rush. Every opportunity would be evaluated, every decision deliberate, inside his newly established diagnostic center, gleaming with polished floors and walls lined with advanced tools. Darius walked past rows of luxury cars awaiting his expertise. A McLaren 720S, its carbon fiber panels glinting in the sun, sat quietly, humming with restrained potential. Nearby, a Lamborghini Aventador rumbled faintly, impatient, its engine begging for the attention of someone who could truly understand it. Darius moved past each vehicle with the same precision he had shown on Sterling's Ferrari, as if he could feel their mechanical essence simply by being near them. Victoria Carter, ever the observer, followed him through the bays, her tablet live streaming to tens of thousands of followers worldwide. "You realize this is bigger than any of us imagined, right?" she asked, her voice a mixture of awe and business instinct. "Collectors are already offering six-figure retainers just for weekend diagnostics." Darius nodded briefly, his eyes scanning the vehicles. "Talent isn't measured by opportunity," he replied. "It's measured by what you do when someone underestimates you." Outside, Sterling waited, though no one had invited him. He lingered at the curb, a shadow of his former arrogance. The Ferrari had been returned to him the previous day, but not before Darius had meticulously documented every adjustment, every acoustic reading, every thermal signature. Sterling's smugness had evaporated under the cold light of evidence. Yet he refused to leave. Part of him feared Darius. Part of him couldn't believe that the world had witnessed his own humiliation. Now, with a new wave of hyper-demanding clients arriving, Sterling had nowhere to hide and nowhere to regain credibility. Inside, Dr. Santos had returned, her professional curiosity renewed. She moved alongside Darius as he prepared for a demonstration unlike any other. Today wasn't just about fixing a car, it was about systematically proving that his methodology could handle any mechanical challenge, even those that defied conventional diagnostics. She watched as he pulled out his acoustic analyzer, infrared thermometer, and precision torque tools, all arranged neatly on his personal diagnostic trolley. Each device had a purpose, each step had meaning. A client from New York, a private collector, with a Bugatti Chiron, had flown in overnight, desperate for Darius's touch. "I've been told no one can solve the persistent misfire under load," the client said, voice taut with frustration. 5 mechanics tried, 2 factory engineers, everyone failed. Darius tilted his head slightly, studying the Chiron's engine through the open hood. Without a word, He brought his acoustic probe close to the intake manifold. Subtle vibrations registered on the screen frequencies that others would dismiss as background noise. But to Darius, they told the story, harmonic interference caused by microfractures in a titanium bracket compounded by slight misalignment in the fuel rail mounting. Victoria streamed the entire process, her followers riveted. Comments poured in. He's not just diagnosing, he's reading the car's mind. How is this even humanly possible? This is the future of automotive engineering. Even seasoned mechanics leaned forward, watching Darius identify each stress point with surgical precision. Dr. Santos spoke quietly to Victoria, almost to herself. Every measurement he takes is rooted in thermodynamics, material science, and systemic diagnostics. He's not guessing, he's translating physical truth into actionable repair. Victoria nodded, her eyes wide. And he does it under pressure in real time with a live audience. That's genius in motion. Meanwhile, Sterling's panic grew. Watching Darius work, watching his Ferrari still purring flawlessly from the previous day, he realized he had no leverage left. Every smirk, every dismissive comment, every racist assumption had been publicly destroyed. And now, with collectors and engineers observing, Sterling could not intervene without further embarrassment. Darius moved on to the next vehicle, a Lamborghini Aventador SVJ, notorious for a known intake misfire issue that occurred only under certain heat and RPM combinations. He used his infrared thermometer to map thermal gradients across the engine bay, tracing subtle hotspots caused by inefficient heat transfer. Using acoustic harmonic analysis, he pinpointed the precise component, a reinforced aluminum bracket, designed to withstand extreme thermal cycling but misaligned by factory tolerances and slightly warped from prior service. Step by step. Darius explained to the assembled crowd, every vehicle speaks a language. Every frequency, every temperature variation is a word, a sentence, a story. If you listen carefully, if you understand the systemic relationships, you can identify root causes that others will never see. The crowd murmured in awe. Each observation was precise, each step deliberate, each insight revealing why previous attempts had failed. Sterling, watching from the edge of the crowd, felt the walls of his constructed authority collapse. Every car Darius approached, every harmonic he measured, every thermal anomaly he revealed was another testament to a truth Sterling could not deny. Credentials did not equal mastery, and prejudice did not equal insight. As Darius finished preliminary diagnostics on 3 high-end vehicles, a fourth car arrived, a Ferrari 488 Pista, slightly used, with complaints of intermittent stalling under heavy acceleration. The owner, a wealthy entrepreneur from Miami, had flown in overnight, insisting Darius be the one to see it first. Darius opened the hood, tools in hand, as the room went silent. Cameras were rolling, live streams were active. The audience held in rapt attention. He spoke softly, yet every word carried authority. This isn't just a mechanical problem. This is a systemic manifestation of stress patterns, material fatigue, and thermal variance interacting under dynamic operating conditions. Most mechanics see symptoms. We're going to see the story. The crowd leaned in. Even Sterling's smug facade faltered. For the first time, he realized the implications. Darius Mitchell wasn't just fixing cars. He was redefining the very standard of diagnostic mastery, turning every challenge into a spectacle of truth, patience, and intellect. The day had only begun, yet it was clear Beverly Hills and the automotive world would never be the same. And Sterling, trapped by the consequences of his own hubris, could only watch as a man he had tried to humiliate systematically. Scientifically and spectacularly proved that talent cannot be underestimated, prejudice cannot withstand truth, and excellence always commands attention. The Ferrari 488 Pista purred softly under Darius's hands, but its engine whispered secrets only he could interpret. Each vibration, each micro-fluctuation in the harmonic spectrum spoke volumes. Darius crouched slightly, holding his acoustic, probed near the intake manifold while carefully adjusting the infrared thermometer across the engine bay. Every reading told a story of stress, misalignment, and thermal inefficiency. Sterling hovered near the perimeter, his expensive shoes squeaking faintly against the polished floor. He tried to appear calm, yet his eyes betrayed him, scanning, calculating, waiting for the moment when Darius would fail. He wanted the car to stall, the system to misfire, the evidence of Darius's brilliance to collapse. But the engine refused to cooperate with his expectations. Its every response, measured and recorded, confirmed Darius's earlier analysis. He had anticipated the problem where no one else had even looked. Darius tapped the titanium bracket near the fuel rail with a calibrated tool from his personal diagnostic kit. The probe picked up a harmonic at 652.7 Hz, secondary resonance at 978.3 Hz. Titanium microfractures, he announced, voice calm but authoritative. Misalignment caused by factory tolerances. Exacerbated under high thermal load. Most mechanics would replace the bracket and call it fixed, but the stress pattern would return after just a few hundred miles. Permanent resolution requires precision torque sequencing and thermal management during installation. Dr. Santos moved closer, nodding as she confirmed the readings on her professional infrared analyzer. The live stream displayed her tablet alongside Darius's diagnostic equipment, showing viewers in real time the thermal and acoustic maps he was generating. Red laser dots danced across hotspots while blue overlays indicated cooler zones, subtle yet critical differences that revealed the bracket's micromotion under operating conditions. Notice how the peak frequencies correspond with specific RPM ranges and load conditions, Dr. Santos explained to the growing crowd. This isn't random, it's systematic mechanical communication. Victoria Carter's commentary had become electric, her voice riding the live stream's energy. This is extraordinary. You're watching a man diagnose at a level no certified mechanic, not even Ferrari factory engineers, can replicate. Look at how he reads the engine like sheet music, each note a hidden failure waiting to be revealed. Darius's methodical process continued. He moved to the exhaust manifold, scanning for stress cracks and vibration interference. Using a combination of thermal mapping and harmonic resonance analysis, he identified a secondary issue, a slight warping of the manifold flange caused by previous overheating. This subtle deformation is imperceptible visually, he said, but it generates micro-vibrations that alter airflow dynamics, affecting combustion efficiency under high RPM loads. Left unchecked, it could propagate to secondary systems, triggering intermittent misfires that mimic sensor failures. Sterling's jaw tightened. He knew enough to recognize brilliance when he saw it, and it terrified him. Yet he could not speak. Any attempt to challenge Darius now would only confirm his own earlier incompetence. The silent crowd, captivated, became an audience to the systematic dismantling of Sterling's assumptions. Darius pulled a torque wrench from his kit, calibrated to the exact foot-pound specification required for the Pista's titanium bracket. Every step followed scientific reasoning, not guesswork. First, initial tension is applied at 12 feet lb diagonally to seat the component without inducing stress concentration. Then, thermal monitoring ensured the engine's operating temperature stabilized at precisely 71.5 degrees Celsius, a half-degree margin, where material expansion matched the bracket's optimal geometry. Final torque sequence increased bolts to 20 feet lb in diagonal pattern, ensuring stress was evenly distributed across all mounting points. Each movement was deliberate, each measurement recorded, each adjustment irreversible without knowledge of the entire system. The crowd murmured in awe. Phones captured the process. Every live stream viewer could see the invisible physics made visible, the systematic application of thermodynamic principles, material science, and acoustic analysis culminating in a repair that was permanent by design. Darius didn't stop with the Pista. He moved to the McLaren 720S, notorious for erratic throttle behavior under high-load cornering. Within minutes, he identified a minor fuel injector misalignment combined with a microfracture in the intake camshaft bracket. Using his thermal acoustic methodology, he pinpointed the exact degree of misalignment, 0.07 millimeters, that would trigger subtle airflow fluctuations affecting fuel mixture ratios. He demonstrated to the audience why previous mechanics had missed it. The The problem manifested only when throttle input exceeded 65% and RPM exceeded 6,500 under high ambient temperature. Static diagnostic checks, conventional in most garages, would never reveal the dynamic failure. Sterling, now shifting uneasily, whispered under his breath, "Impossible. He's finding things that shouldn't exist?" His voice trailed off as he realized the truth. Every failure point Darius uncovered, every harmonic reading and thermal anomaly, was consistent, verifiable, and actionable. Not luck, not coincidence, systematic mastery. Victoria highlighted McLaren's acoustic analysis for her audience. Notice how the secondary harmonic shifts with every engine load change. That's the kind of subtle signature only someone like Darius can interpret. Ordinary mechanics would either overlook it entirely or misdiagnose it as a sensor fault. This is diagnostic artistry. The process repeated with the Lamborghini Aventador SVJ. Darius mapped airflow irregularities using his combined thermal acoustic approach, identifying a microgap between the intercooler mounting plate and the chassis that created vibration-induced resonance at 712 Hz. Secondary harmonic 1056 Hz. The result, erratic turbocharger performance at specific RPMs under load. Again, Darius demonstrated the precise installation sequence for the corrected plate. Applying torque in a specific diagonal pattern, monitoring real-time thermal expansion, and ensuring full alignment of the airflow path. By mid-afternoon, Darius had demonstrated the systematic correction of 3 ultra-high-performance vehicles, each with faults previously deemed unsolvable. Every adjustment reflected principles invisible to traditional diagnostics: harmonic resonance, thermal expansion coefficients, systemic interdependencies of connected components, and stress propagation under real-world dynamic conditions. Sterling could no longer hide his anxiety. His once unyielding arrogance crumbled with every vehicle Darius touched. The livestream had exceeded 55,000 viewers, all witnessing the same phenomena: a black man demonstrating expertise beyond credentialed engineers, reducing impossible failures to routine, reproducible repairs. The evidence was overwhelming, undeniable, and public. Then a challenge arrived unexpectedly. The center's automated system notified Darius of a high-profile client, a Bugatti Chiron from Dubai, shipped specifically for him. The car had experienced intermittent electrical faults combined with sporadic turbocharger lag problems factory engineers had failed to reproduce. Darius's eyes narrowed. This would be the ultimate test, not just of mechanical skill, but of his ability to integrate thermal acoustic methodology under real-world systemic conditions. He turned to the crowd, calm and composed. "This is where most mechanics give up," he said. They see individual failures in isolation and assume a solution exists there. In reality, these cars speak a networked language. Every fault interacts dynamically with others. If you listen correctly, you can diagnose, predict, and prevent cascading failures. That's what we're about to do. Sterling, pale and sweating, muttered under his breath. He's unstoppable. His words, almost prophetic, reflected the growing realization that his assumptions about skill, race, and status were systematically collapsing. Darius prepared his diagnostic suite, calibrating his acoustic probe and infrared thermometer, plotting expected harmonic patterns based on material and engineering specifications. The Chirons hood opened, revealing a labyrinth of precision engineering, carbon fiber, and high-tech composites. But Darius saw patterns beneath the complexity. Subtle thermal shifts and harmonic deviations invisible to all but the most sensitive instruments and the most attuned human perception. "Here's what everyone else misses," he explained to the crowd, gesturing to the harmonic spectrum displayed on his screen. Most mechanics look for catastrophic failure, broken bolts, cracked blocks, obvious sensor errors. But these cars fail silently first. They whisper through vibration, heat, and systemic interaction. We listen, measure, and correct before the symptoms fully manifest. The crowd leaned forward, silent in anticipation. Sterling could only watch, his confidence evaporating completely. The stakes had escalated, another impossible challenge. Another opportunity for Darius to prove that methodical, scientific, and patient mastery would always trump arrogance, bias, and ignorance, and as Darius began mapping the Chiron systems, the crowd realized this wasn't just mechanical repair, it was systematic, observable genius in action, a live demonstration of talent unbound by expectation, race, or preconceived notions. Darius's fingers hovered over the Chiron's advanced diagnostic interface, his eyes scanning the harmonic spectrum while his infrared probe traced the thermal map of the engine bay. The Bugatti's quad-turbo W16 roared softly under the garage lights, each note layered with subtle deviations invisible to ordinary mechanics but screaming clarity to Darius. "Notice the micro-vibration pattern around the right side intercooler," he said, pointing to a cluster of peaks at 498 Hz, secondary harmonic 752 Hz, under heavy throttle at 6,800 RPM. This resonance disrupts airflow sensors, causing intermittent turbo lag. Standard diagnostics report nominal sensor readings because the fault only manifests dynamically when multiple subsystems interact. The problem is systemic, not isolated. Sterling's hands clenched into fists. He stepped closer, attempting to mask fear with authority. "This is a $3 million car. You're not going to," Darius interrupted gently, his tone calm but firm. "It's not the price that matters. It's understanding the system. The same principles apply whether it's a $15 our detail car or a $3 million hypercar. Listen carefully, observe, respect the machine. That's how you solve the impossible." Dr. Santos leaned over, verifying the readings with her professional analyzer. "He's right," she confirmed. "The resonance pattern and thermal anomalies match exactly what he's identifying. If you ignore these subtle cues, the problem will persist indefinitely." Victoria Carter's live stream audience had surged past 65,000 viewers. Comments scrolled rapidly. "This is insane. He sees what no one else can. Sterling is about to implode." The world was watching, and Darius thrived under the pressure, methodically mapping the Bugatti's every systemic anomaly using his acoustic probe. Darius identified a secondary problem: the exhaust manifold heat shield exhibited microfractures transmitting vibration into the chassis, subtly affecting suspension electronics at high speeds. "This is why the car stalls under cornering loads," he explained. "It's not an echo failure. The mechanical stress propagates into the control modules, triggering protective shutdowns. Previous engineers replaced software and sensors, treating symptoms. I'm addressing the root cause." Sterling's arrogance faltered as Darius explained each detail. Every insight dismantled his assumptions, revealing the depth of technical mastery that no formal credentials could replicate. "He's seeing the machine's language," Sterling muttered under his breath, half in awe. Half in panic, Darius retrieved a jeweler's loupe and examined the heat shield microfractures. The cracks were hairline, invisible without magnification, yet they had predictable vibration signatures. The metal flexes under extreme thermal load, creating harmonic feedback that disrupts adjacent systems, he said. "We can't ignore these micro-failures, they cascade." Dr. Santos projected the thermal map onto her tablet, showing the audience precise temperature differentials. Red zones indicated excessive heat. Blue zones indicated insufficient thermal transfer. "Observe how Darius correlates vibration frequencies with heat anomalies," she explained. "This is advanced thermodynamic stress analysis applied in real time. Most specialists never achieve this level of insight." Darius moved to the engine's fuel delivery system, detecting a secondary resonance at 923 Hz caused by a loosely seated fuel rail. The minor movement generated micro-pressure fluctuations that intermittently misread fuel flow, explaining the sporadic misfires and throttle hesitation. "This isn't detectable with static diagnostics," he said. "It's only visible when the engine operates under specific load, temperature, and RPM conditions simultaneously. The system speaks if you listen properly." Victoria narrated for her viewers, her excitement palpable. "He's diagnosing 3 simultaneous mechanical-electrical interactions on a car, that even top factory engineers failed to resolve. The sheer precision is unreal. Comments flooded in. This is beyond genius. Sterling can't hide now. Look at the harmonic analysis on screen. Darius began the systematic repair. First, he removed the heat shield using precise torque and alignment procedures. Each bolt was loosened and retightened following a diagonal sequence, ensuring the microfractures wouldn't propagate further. Simultaneously, he monitored thermal expansion using his infrared probe, waiting for the engine to stabilize at 72.3 degrees Celsius. Within the half-degree tolerance required for the material's optimal stress profile, the audience leaned closer, phones raised, capturing the moment. Darius carefully repositioned the fuel rail, seating it with microscopic precision. Torque specifications were exact, 18.5 feet lb in a cross pattern, followed by dynamic thermal monitoring to ensure proper expansion under live conditions. Notice how he integrates mechanical installation with real-time thermal feedback, Dr. Santos said, pointing to the screen. This is graduate-level thermodynamics applied practically. Most mechanics would have replaced components blindly, risking immediate recurrence. Sterling tried to interrupt. Even if you do this perfectly, a Bugatti systems are... Darius held up a hand, politely but firmly. Let me finish. Precision engineering isn't about assumptions, it's about listening, observing, and responding scientifically. This car has already shown me everything it needs me to know. I simply act on its feedback. Once the heat shield and fuel rail were corrected, Darius turned to the turbocharger assembly. He had previously recorded the harmonic interference patterns. Now he verified real-time changes. The 498 Hz resonance disappeared, replaced by a clean waveform. Thermal mapping confirmed proper heat distribution across the intercoolers. The turbo lag was caused by compounded mechanical vibration and misalignment, he explained. Now it's eliminated because the system is in perfect dynamic harmony. Sterling's eyes widened. His $3 million asset, a symbol of wealth, status, and his own assumed superiority, was being restored by someone he had publicly mocked. And it wasn't just working, it was optimized beyond factory design. Each system operating at peak efficiency. Darius didn't rush. He methodically rechecked every connection, every bolt, every sensor reading. Redundancy is key, he explained to the crowd. Systems may appear fixed, but any overlooked micro-anomaly can propagate. We confirm everything in the operational envelope the car will experience. The final stage, a live road test simulation. Darius fired up the Bugatti, gradually increasing RPM under stationary load, monitoring harmonic spectra and thermal readings simultaneously. Every vibration, every temperature differential, every airflow pattern was recorded and compared to factory specifications. Deviations? None. Every system perfectly aligned. Victoria's live stream reached 78,000 viewers. Comments exploded. He's rewriting automotive diagnostics. Sterling is done. This is the most incredible thing I've ever seen. Darius prepared the car for full dynamic testing. Steering, throttle,
suspension, braking, all systems responded flawlessly. Sterling's face, once masked in forced confidence, now displayed a pale, defeated realization. The man he tried to humiliate was not just competent, he was incomparable. Dr. Santos confirmed final readings. All systems not only meet but exceed factory specifications. Thermal and harmonic stability is perfect. This car now performs better than when it left the factory. Precision beyond the engineering team itself. Sterling swallowed hard, stepping back. He had no words left. Every excuse, every prior attempt to assert authority, every racist assumption systematically demolished. The audience, both in the garage and online, bore witness to the undeniable truth of talent and mastery, unbound by prejudice. Darius remained calm, serene even as he exited the Chiron. The system has spoken. All adjustments verified. This is how machines communicate if you know how to listen, observe, and act precisely. Sterling looked around at the captivated crowd, now hundreds strong in person and thousands online. He understood finally that his attempts to control, to dominate, had failed utterly. The live stream immortalized every detail, the methodology, the analysis, the repair, and the complete humiliation of his assumptions. Victoria Carter spoke directly to her viewers. You just watched a man turn impossible failures into flawless performance. Not through luck, not through credentials, but through observation, patience, and systematic mastery. Excellence speaks louder than prejudice, and it wins every time. Sterling muttered under his breath, barely audible. How? How is this possible? Darius smiled faintly. Because I listen to what the machine tells me, instead of assuming I know better. The livestream comments exploded once again. Genius. He's literally reprogramming automotive repair methodology. Sterling is finished. By the end of the afternoon, the Bugatti's harmonic signature had been fully restored. Micro-vibrations were gone, thermal distribution stabilized, turbo lag eliminated, and every electronic system verified under dynamic conditions. Every previous mechanics attempts had failed because they lacked the systematic approach. Darius employed a combination of thermal analysis, acoustic resonance mapping, and real-time systemic correction. Sterling, now silent, could only watch as Darius documented the process for verification. Each measurement corroborated by Dr. Santos's equipment. His arrogance, once insurmountable, had crumbled completely under the weight of methodical, observable expertise, and the crowd understood this wasn't just repair. It was engineering mastery, performed live, broadcast to thousands, and permanently recorded for the world to see. Sterling's public humiliation was inevitable. The CEO had not only underestimated a man based on bias, but had been spectacularly outperformed in plain sight. Leaving no room for denial, the crowd had grown restless with anticipation. But Darius remained focused, his eyes fixed on the Bugatti's digital readouts. Every sensor, every harmonic frequency, every thermal gradient demanded scrutiny. Victoria's livestream now surpassed 92,000 viewers, comments flooding in. This is history in the making. I've never seen anyone diagnose a hypercar like this. Sterling's career is over. Darius moved with surgical precision, switching to the suspension system. The adaptive dampers are not failing, he explained, kneeling beside the car. They're reacting to micro-vibrations transmitted through the chassis from the exhaust manifold stress points we corrected earlier. When a system is improperly stabilized, feedback loops in electronics create phantom errors. Everything you've seen reported as failure was a symptom, not the cause. Dr. Santos monitored his work, nodding. He's isolating each system while understanding its interdependence, she told the crowd. This is applied systems engineering at its finest. Most specialists don't consider multi-layer interactions in real time. He's visualizing the unseen. Darius adjusted the suspension's damping curves manually, integrating real-time thermal and vibrational data.
The hydraulic pressures fluctuated subtly as he monitored micro-strain readings across the chassis. Notice how the damping force is now consistent with dynamic weight transfer, he explained. Previously, the system overcompensated due to vibrations from misaligned mechanical components. Now the feedback is pure. Sterling stepped closer, his face pale, his confidence eroded. Even if you fix this, it's a hyper-car unpredictable under stress, he said, trying to regain control. Darius didn't respond immediately. He tapped the brake system's sensor cluster with a small diagnostic tool, producing a clear, harmonic signature. No anomalies here, he stated. All previous brake faults were electrical artifacts caused by micro-vibration interference from the chassis. The system was never defective. It was being misled by external mechanical noise. Victoria's camera captured the precise moment the crowd gasped. Darius's explanation revealed what no mechanic or engineer had understood. The car itself had been communicating its issues all along, but only an observer capable of systemic interpretation could decode the signals with calm authority. Darius moved to the engine bay again. He carefully removed the intake manifold cover, inspecting each mounting point. Observe the subtle wear patterns here, he said, pointing to a microscopic groove in the aluminum flange. Thermal expansion over time caused this slight deformation. Individually, it's negligible, but combined with harmonic resonance, it created airflow turbulence detectable as minor misfires. Dr. Santos's professional equipment confirmed the micro-deformation. Even factory engineers rarely detect such fine-scale wear without destructive testing, she noted to the audience. Yet Mr. Mitchell identifies it in a live environment non-invasively and corrects it without compromise. Darius replaced the intake manifold bolts, applying precise torque in a diagonal sequence, while maintaining engine temperature at 72.8 degrees Celsius, the optimal balance for aluminum thermal expansion. Too tight or too loose and the problem recurs immediately, he explained. The bolts must follow a precise sequence to distribute stress evenly. This is why previous repairs failed. Victoria narrated live, her voice brimming with excitement. Notice how he combines acoustic analysis, thermal mapping, and systematic mechanical correction. This is beyond repair, it's engineering optimization, live in front of the world. The crowd leaned in, fascinated. Phones captured every moment, broadcasting the methodology globally. Comments from viewers ranged from disbelief to awe. This is genius level. Every mechanic in the world should watch this. Sterling can't even argue with this evidence. Next, Darius addressed the Bugatti's advanced turbochargers. Each unit's shaft alignment and thermal gradient was meticulously measured. The left side turbo exhibited microflex at 6,100 RPM, producing subtle intermittent airflow fluctuation. Previous mechanics replaced sensors and recalibrated software, Darius explained. They addressed the wrong variables. The root cause was mechanical shaft microflex due to mounting plate distortion under heat and load. Corrected this, and airflow stabilizes across the full RPM range. Sterling's jaw tightened. The man he mocked had not only diagnosed but optimized systems beyond factory specifications, an achievement that no degree or credential could fully explain. Darius continued with surgical precision, adjusting wastegate actuator pressures to synchronize with turbo response. Observe harmonic realignment, he said, displaying live frequency graphs. Notice how the secondary resonances disappear. This is critical for maintaining engine integrity under peak load conditions. Dr. Santos nodded approvingly. This is real-time, systemic engineering applied with precision tools and innate diagnostic ability. It's extraordinary. Victoria zoomed in on the harmonic graph for her live audience. Red lines representing anomalies melted away as Darius's corrections took effect. Comments exploded. This is literal mastery. Sterling just got owned. He's teaching the world how to listen to machines. Darius then turned his attention to the Bugatti's hybrid energy recovery system. The KERS unit displayed intermittent voltage spikes previously attributed to faulty electronics. Darius traced the anomaly to slight misalignment in the regenerative braking actuator, transmitting vibration into the battery control module. No sensor is defective, he explained. It's the mechanical input creating false readings. Correcting the actuator resolves the entire electrical cascade. With a jeweler's loop and precision torque wrench, he adjusted the actuator mount, verifying alignment under simulated dynamic load. Thermal probes ensured the battery pack remained within safe operational limits. Now the electrical system communicates flawlessly, Darius confirmed. Micro vibrations eliminated. Power recovery optimized. Sterling's composure crumbled further. Every step of Darius's process systematically dismantled the illusion of Sterling's superiority, exposing him as a man blinded by bias rather than incompetence. Darius's final check was the aerodynamic control system. Active flaps, steering angle sensors, and adaptive spoilers had all displayed intermittent faults under prior stress tests. Using live feedback, he confirmed that micro vibrations from the turbo mounts and chassis flex were transmitting false signals to the control units. With all mechanical vibrations corrected, electronic feedback is now accurate. Aerodynamics now respond perfectly to driving conditions, including high-speed cornering and full acceleration, Darius explained. Victoria's live audience was ecstatic. Viewer count had now surpassed 110,000. Comments flooding in from every corner of the automotive world. This is rewriting the rule book. Sterling's arrogance destroyed. Mr. Mitchell is a diagnostic legend. Darius paused, surveying the car and audience. Every subsystem, every harmonic frequency, every thermal gradient was now aligned perfectly. The Bugatti's performance exceeded factory specifications, optimized beyond its original engineering design. Dr. Santos confirmed the final verification. Horsepower exceeds nominal output by 6%. Torque delivery smoother and more responsive than factory calibration. Thermal stability optimized across all operational loads. Vibration eliminated within precision tolerances, usually requiring $75,000 of additional engineering refinement. Sterling's voice was barely audible. I can't believe it, Darius replied calmly, almost philosophically. Belief is irrelevant. The data, the machine's response, and systematic methodology speak for themselves. The garage erupted in applause, but Darius remained composed, serene even as Victoria's live feed documented every moment. This was not repair, it was transformation, performed methodically, scientifically, and systematically in plain sight. Sterling's $3 million asset, once a symbol of status and his assumed intellectual dominance, had been optimized by a man he publicly demeaned. Every observer, both online and in the garage, had witnessed the complete destruction of bias through technical mastery. Victoria addressed the live audience. Ladies and gentlemen, you've witnessed something unprecedented. Not just repair, not just optimization, but systematic engineering genius. Mr. Mitchell has not only solved a problem every other specialist failed to diagnose, but he's improved performance beyond factory design. Sterling's arrogance, based on prejudice, is in ruins. Sterling slumped into a chair, the weight of his failure apparent. His assumptions, privileges, and perceived superiority had been systematically dismantled. The live stream ensured this humiliation would never be forgotten. Cementing Darius's status as a global diagnostic authority, Darius's final words to the crowd were calm yet resonant. Precision is universal. Systems speak, machines communicate. Only patience, observation, and systematic understanding reveal the truth. Excellence is evident when you allow it to manifest. Dr. Santos confirmed, this demonstration will become a standard case study in automotive diagnostics worldwide. What you've witnessed is the highest level of mechanical mastery, harmonically, thermally, and systematically executed. Sterling's face reflected the cold reality. His underestimation had catastrophic consequences, and the world now knew it. The live stream exploded across social media, automotive forums, and professional networks. Viewer count soared past 150,000 as engineers, mechanics, and enthusiasts around the world dissected every aspect of Darius's methodology. Comments highlighted a common realization. This isn't just repair, it's a revolution. Sterling's downfall is total. I've never seen anyone diagnose like this in real time. Darius stepped back, surveying the flawless machine and the captivated crowd. Every system harmonized, every anomaly resolved, and every technical challenge overcome with precision, patience, and intellect. Sterling, once a figure of authority and discrimination, now watched helplessly. The world had seen the truth, and it could never be unseen. Darius slid into the Bugatti with a calm precision that belied the adrenaline, rippling through the crowd. Sterling followed reluctantly, his expensive shoes brushing the polished garage floor. Every step a reminder of the humiliation already searing his ego. Outside, the city of Beverly Hills basked in mid-morning heat, unaware that a demonstration of engineering genius and social reckoning was unfolding. Victoria, Carter's live feed surged past 180,000 viewers. Comments exploded. This is automotive history. He's doing what 5 specialists couldn't in weeks. Sterling is going to collapse on camera. The crowd surrounding the garage swelled as spectators craned their necks to glimpse the unfolding mastery. Darius started with controlled acceleration tests. Observe the torque curve, he said, his left hand steady on the wheel, his right manipulating the live telemetry interface. The Bugatti surged forward, every sensor reading pristine, every harmonic frequency aligned. Previous misfires were misread as electronic errors. Now, the system communicates clearly with the drivetrain. The response is instantaneous and precise. Sterling squirmed in the passenger seat. Even if it works now, he hissed, voice tight, it won't hold under aggressive stress. You're just lucky this time. Darius glanced at him, unshaken. Not luck. Systematic methodology, observation, and execution. There's a difference. The first hill test began on Mulholland Drive. The Bugatti climbed steep inclines with unwavering power. Engine temperature remained stable. Turbo response flawless. Adaptive suspension compensated perfectly for weight transfer. Darius's thermal mapping device projected real-time gradients on his tablet. The micro-vibrations that had plagued the car were now eliminated. The harmonic resonance pristine. Dr. Santos followed in her SUV, narrating for the crowd. Look at this. Every system operates beyond nominal factory specifications. This is applied thermodynamics, material science, and mechanical engineering performed live. Few engineers can achieve this in controlled lab conditions, let alone on public roads. Darius's precision became more apparent with each test. Aggressive braking from high speeds demonstrated the Bugatti's stability and response. Every previous warning light that had tormented Sterling's mind remained dormant. Hydraulic pressures stabilized within milliseconds. Regenerative braking recovery operated seamlessly. Victoria zoomed in on the live feed. Notice the synchronized feedback from the turbochargers, suspension, and braking system. Every component now communicates in perfect harmony. This is not repair, this is optimization beyond factory limits. Sterling's confident smirk faded with each flawless performance. His mind raced, trying to rationalize the impossibility unfolding before him. Every professional mechanism he relied upon, every assumption about competence tied to formal education and privilege, crumbled under Darius's calm authority. Next, Darius introduced lateral stress tests. Sharp turns at high speeds across winding canyons tested chassis integrity and aerodynamic responsiveness. The Bugatti leaned predictably, flaps adjusting, spoilers aligning, tires gripping with surgical precision. The harmonic and thermal data he monitored indicated no anomalies. Each subsystem communicated perfectly with the others. Darius slowed at the top of a switchback and addressed the audience. Notice how the powertrain adapts without lag. Engine management is free from interference. Every previous symptom was a mechanical miscommunication, now resolved. The car tells the truth when you know how to listen. Sterling's voice broke as he muttered, I didn't think anyone could do this. Belief isn't required, Darius replied. Results are universal. Dr. Santos recorded every reading, displaying comparisons between factory specifications and post-correction performance. Horsepower exceeded nominal output by 7%. Torque delivery smoother, emissions lower than EPA limits. Vibrations within tolerances typically requiring additional engineering modifications exceeding $75,000. Victoria's live audience exploded in excitement. Comments poured in from engineers, mechanics, and enthusiasts globally. This guy is redefining diagnostics. Sterling just got schooled by a $15 AR worker. I've never seen systematic precision like this in real time. Darius pushed the test further, simulating emergency maneuvers. High-speed braking into tight corners, rapid throttle inputs, and sudden load changes challenged every subsystem simultaneously. The Bugatti responded flawlessly, powertrain, chassis, and aerodynamics synchronizing as, if anticipating the driver's intentions, Sterling's hands gripped the passenger door handle. I don't understand, he stammered. Darius's tone was calm but unwavering. Understanding requires listening, observation, and systematic analysis. You've assumed superiority, but machines don't lie. Systems communicate. Only a prepared mind can interpret them correctly. The next phase involved extreme thermal testing. Darius drove the Bugatti in direct sunlight, idling at high RPMs to heat the engine bay while monitoring coolant and oil temperature. Using infrared thermography, he verified every component remained within precise operational windows. Micro vibrations eliminated, harmonic signatures perfect. Thermal stress evenly distributed across materials. Dr. Santos narrated, highlighting the technical mastery. What you're witnessing is graduate level thermodynamics applied in real-world diagnostics. Mr. Mitchell anticipates thermal behavior, vibration, and electronic feedback, adjusting each system methodically to achieve perfect equilibrium. This is artistry and science combined. Victoria's live stream reached 220,000 viewers. Comments intensified. This is beyond genius. Sterling's arrogance just destroyed itself. Automotive history is being rewritten. Darius then conducted a simulation of prolonged high-speed freeway driving. Acceleration from 0 to 150 miles per hour on limited roads, maintaining peak turbo pressure. Sustained cornering and continuous braking cycles tested the Bugatti to its limits. Each subsystem maintained harmony. No misfires, no warning lights, no vibrations. The car operated beyond its factory-tested envelope, demonstrating optimization achieved through systematic understanding rather than brute replacement. Sterling's composure broke entirely. He leaned forward, voice trembling. I can't. How is this possible? Darius's reply was calm and instructional, because the car communicates when observed carefully. Every signal, harmonic, and thermal gradient tells a story. I listened. Others assumed. The final test involves city driving under realistic conditions, traffic lights, stop-and-go patterns, steep hills, and sudden accelerations. The Bugatti performed flawlessly, every system interacting in perfect synchronization. Exhaust emissions cleaner than specified, engine response linear and instantaneous, suspension and aerodynamics fully optimized. Victoria summarized live. Ladies and gentlemen, the Bugatti is now operating beyond what factory engineers considered possible. This is not just repair, this is mechanical enlightenment executed live by a man Sterling mocked and underestimated. Sterling slumped into his seat, defeated. His arrogance, privilege, and assumptions had crumbled publicly. Darius exited the vehicle, calm and composed, while Dr. Santos verified telemetry one last time. The car's performance data was flawless. Every harmonic, thermal, and mechanical metric is now aligned with optimal parameters. Victoria turned to the camera. You've just witnessed unprecedented diagnostic mastery. Mr. Mitchell has not only corrected every issue, but optimized the machine beyond original design specifications. Sterling's arrogance and prejudice have been dismantled for the world to see. The crowd erupted in applause, phones capturing every detail. Comments on the live stream now numbered over 250,000, spreading across social media and professional networks worldwide. Engineers, mechanics, and enthusiasts dissected every detail of Darius's methodology, harmonic analysis, thermal mapping, systematic mechanical correction, and precision optimization. Sterling, once a figure of dominance and assumed intellectual superiority, now faced total humiliation. Every assumption he had about competence, talent, and race was shattered. The live broadcast ensured the world would remember his failure, and Darius's genius. Darius addressed Sterling one final time. The car now speaks truth. Performance, harmony, optimization, these are objective. Your assumptions are irrelevant. Excellence is evident when executed, not when claimed. Dr. Santos confirmed the final measurements. Horsepower exceeded factory output by 7%. Torque delivery smoother than original calibration. Emissions cleaner than legal requirements. Vibration levels within tolerances achievable only with advanced engineering modifications. Sterling's world crumbled completely. The Bugatti, once a symbol of status and authority, now represented the victory of systematic mastery over arrogance. Of talent over prejudice, Victoria's live feed had reached 300,000 viewers, with comments praising Darius as a diagnostic genius and innovator, and a symbol of talent unrecognized by traditional systems. As the Bugatti glided silently back into the garage, Darius stepped out, calm and composed. Sterling remained slumped in his chair, defeated, irrelevant, and exposed. The world had seen the triumph of skill, method, and intellect over bias. And it would not be forgotten that Dr. Santos addressed the assembled crowd. This demonstration will be studied globally, Mr. Mitchell, has set a new standard in automotive diagnostics and engineering optimization. What you've witnessed is not just repair its systematic genius applied in real time under public scrutiny. Sterling's arrogance, privilege, and prejudice had been dismantled irrevocably. Darius, once undervalued and underestimated, now stood at the pinnacle of recognition, authority, and opportunity. Every system perfected, every misconception obliterated, every observer transformed by witnessing unprecedented excellence. The garage fell silent as Darius stepped back from the Bugatti, the vehicle now a testament to flawless engineering and systematic mastery. The crowd lingered, reluctant to leave, each person absorbing the magnitude of what had unfolded. Phones recorded every angle, every detail, every moment of Darius's precision. Social media notifications exploded, the live stream now surpassing 350,000 viewers. Spreading across continents in real time, Sterling sat slumped in the corner, his face pale, suit rumpled, and ego shattered. Every assumption he had clung to privilege equating to intelligence, credentials defining competence, prejudice masking insecurity had been systematically dismantled. The world had watched him attempt to assert dominance, only to be defeated by observation, methodical analysis, and genuine talent. His silence was absolute. Even words of protest or justification seemed impossible. Victoria Carter approached Darius with a wide smile, her eyes alight with professional admiration. "You've just rewritten the standards of automotive diagnostics," she said, her voice brimming with excitement. "Every dealership, every engineering team will be talking about this for months. And that Bugatti? You didn't just fix it, you optimized it beyond factory design. Do you understand what this means?" Darius nodded, modest but confident. "It means the machine communicates if you know how to listen. It means systems don't lie. It's not about proving someone wrong, it's about understanding truth in motion." Dr. Santos joined, projecting the final thermal and harmonic analysis onto her tablet for everyone to see. Notice these final metrics. Every parameter is beyond standard expectations. Horsepower? Increased. Torque? Smoother. Vibrations? Minimized. Thermal distribution? Perfect. This is systematic engineering applied with surgical precision. Mr. Mitchell's methodology proves that true mastery transcends credentials, biases, and assumptions. Excellence is measurable, observable, and undeniable. The crowd erupted in applause once more. Spectators and professionals alike shared astonished glances, phones capturing every moment. Comments flooded Victoria's live feed. "This is revolutionary. I've never seen anyone diagnose and optimize in real time like this." Sterling just got schooled publicly and globally. Sterling finally lifted his gaze, eyes meeting Darius's for the first time without the arrogance he had worn so proudly. I underestimated you," he whispered, voice hollow and trembling. Every ounce of authority he once commanded had evaporated under the weight of undeniable expertise. Darius's expression remained calm, unwavering. "Your assumptions didn't affect my work. The car communicates the truth if you know how to observe it. My focus was never on proving you wrong, it was on resolving the system." Dr. Santos addressed Sterling directly. "Let this be a lesson. Talent exists independently of race, title, or social standing. Attempting to dismiss it out of prejudice has consequences far beyond personal embarrassment. The world saw today that skill cannot be assumed, it must be recognized and respected." Victoria stepped forward, adding, "And those consequences extend beyond this garage. Clients, dealerships, and professional networks will take note. The automotive community is small, and social media immortalizes moments like this. Sterling, the damage to your reputation is irreversible. But Mr. Mitchell's future has just exploded with opportunity." Indeed, opportunities began to materialize almost immediately. Calls flooded in from luxury automotive collectors, professional racing teams, and engineering consultancies. UCLA sought Darius for collaborative research documenting his systematic diagnostic methodology. Private collectors offered retainer contracts. Prestigious dealerships requested consulting agreements. Within hours, Darius transformed from a previously undervalued worker into one of the most sought-after diagnostic specialists in the country. Sterling's realization of his personal and professional collapse was staggering. The Ferrari, once a symbol of his authority and assumed superiority, now symbolized his failure. His public humiliation, broadcast to hundreds of thousands in real time, ensured that the world would remember his arrogance and prejudice. The very tools he had used to assert dominant status, privilege, and assumptions had been turned against him. Exposing his ignorance and bias, Darius walked around the Bugatti one last time, hands gliding along the flawless surface of the car. Every panel, every component, every system now operated at its peak. "Machines speak clearly if you listen carefully," he said quietly. "They reveal truth, and in doing so, they show the consequences of assumptions unexamined." Dr. Santos looked at him with deep respect. "You've just set a new standard. This demonstration will become required study material in automotive engineering programs worldwide. The methodology, the execution, the precision, this is genius in action." Victoria recorded the final moments of the live stream. "Let this be a lesson for everyone watching. Talent, intelligence, and mastery cannot be measured by race, credentials, or status. Excellence announces itself through results, not assumptions." And today the world saw it in action. Sterling finally rose, defeated. His voice barely audible, he muttered, "The car. It's yours." He handed over the keys, his hands trembling, and signed the promised check. His arrogance, privilege, and prejudice had been dismantled irrevocably in front of the world. As Darius accepted the keys, the audience erupted again. Phones captured the moment. The once dismissed worker now stood as a symbol of mastery, innovation, and perseverance. Social media exploded, trending globally under hashtags celebrating his genius. Professionals, enthusiasts, and ordinary viewers alike marveled at the spectacle, sharing lessons about talent, fairness, and justice. Sterling's downfall continued beyond the garage. Luxury clients canceled contracts, dealerships severed ties, legal complaints surfaced, and his professional credibility collapsed. Within months, his business suffered irreparable losses. Darius, conversely, became the center of an expanding network of opportunity, influence, and recognition. His facility transformed into a hub for advanced diagnostics, teaching systematic, observational methods to the next generation of engineers and mechanics. Months later, Darius's name became synonymous with precision, insight, and ethical excellence. He had transformed a single public demonstration into a cultural and professional movement, the recognition of talent independent of prejudice, the elevation of method over assumption, and the celebration of mastery wherever it exists. As the crowd dispersed, Darius stood beside the Bugatti, reflecting quietly. Every challenge he had faced, every underestimate, every moment of ridicule had prepared him for this. Rosa's words echoed in his mind. "The machine will tell you what's wrong if you know how to listen." Today, the world had listened, and so had he. Excellence, he realized, doesn't need an audience to exist. It proves itself when observed, respected, and applied. And in the modern world, where social media ensures accountability and recognition, brilliance could no longer be hidden or ignored. The Ferrari purred softly beside him, a mechanical symphony that symbolized triumph, justice, and undeniable skill. Sterling's arrogance had been destroyed, and Darius's genius celebrated. Social media, industry leaders, and professional networks immortalized the moment. Talent, persistence, and systematic mastery had prevailed over prejudice, assumptions, and ignorance. As Darius drove the Bugatti out of the garage for the first time under his ownership, the city of Beverly Hills witnessed not just the triumph of a single man, but the affirmation of a universal truth. Genius recognizes no boundaries, and excellence always finds its voice. The world had seen it, recorded it, and remembered it forever. If you thought today's story was unbelievable, you're not alone. What you just witnessed proves that true talent doesn't need credentials, status, or permission. It speaks for itself through skill, observation, and relentless focus. Darius didn't just fix an impossible car. He transformed prejudice into justice, ignorance into awe, and a simple diagnostic challenge into a lesson the world will never forget. If you're inspired by stories where ordinary people rise to extraordinary mastery, make sure you subscribe now and turn on notifications. Every week, we bring you tales of brilliance, courage, and the incredible power of persistence, stories that remind you that genius can appear anywhere, and excellence always finds its voice. Comment below. Would you have had the courage to face a challenge with the world watching like Darius did? Share your thoughts and experiences and join the conversation as we celebrate talent, determination, and triumph over prejudice.